Hello, everyone, and this is a quick catch up with the Outpost. This is Saranya, Soham, and Dushyant, and we are here to talk to you about what's caught our eye at this year's Google I/O. Dushyant and I are ex-Googlers, and Soham is a Google mentor. But let's assume that this conversation is completely objective, and it's only for the truth of science. So we are going to tell you a little bit about what caught our eye at this year's conference. Soham, do you want to go first?
Personally, for me, I think I was really excited about all uh, the non-AI stuff as well because AI is always like so much information. Um, but for the AI side, right, I was really interested in the video side of things. I think with so many things happening in search, etc., maybe video doesn't always get the proper attention. But I think this time it was one of those things which a lot of people were talking about. So I will talk about something called flow. So flow is like an addition to VO3. It's a tool that's designed around VO3. You can actually make short films. You can actually kind of direct your project. That's the really interesting thing. Just like in previous models as well, you could write something, right? And you could actually generate the video. But more than that, you can save it as an ingredient, right? You can use it as a reusable component, right? Not just the output, but also the prompt, like the narrative, right? You can reuse it. So you can create like a cinematic trailer where there are elements which are common across different scenes. So you can actually type something, right? And it generates this, but then it adds this concept of a scene builder, right? So you can tell what happens next, right? So if part of the clip is not something that you agree with, let's say this person goes somewhere, right? You can actually stop, the journey, and then say, instead of doing this, do something else, right? So it kind of builds the scene for you, right? There's this asset management that I was talking about. You also have a lot of control of the camera. Um, in some competitive tools as well as other commercially available tools, you actually have to change the prompt to change the camera many times, right? But now you have control of the camera, you have control of the environment, how scenes progress.
Thank you, Soham. That was a great insights on Google I/O. There are so many announcements, as Saranya mentioned, happen at Google I/O. But I think, as always, my favorite place is where there's an interesting research happening, and then there is still an opportunity to take this research and solve some interesting products or problems out of it. So the topic that I'm going to talk about is Google's Labs. This is one of my favorite website Google has, and here you can find different experiments that Google Labs team is kind of publishing for general audience. So if you look at this IO, they were around some seven announcement. I really like Stitch. So Stitch is basically your friend if you're working on any project but you don't know how to use design tools, then you can just write a prompt and it can create a tool for you. It can create basically a screen for you, and that screen then you can then import it in design tools like Figma, or you can generate a code and kind of can continue developing your project there. They have some given interesting examples as well. So here if you look at I'm looking for indoor plant dashboard. So let's say if you have four or five plants, and there is a different frequency on how you basically water them, how do you take care of them. So there's a very interesting dashboard that it created out of it, correct? Very simple, very nice, clean UI out of it. So it's very simple and intuitive way for somebody who does not have a design background or skills. They can still use this tool and kind of create some foundational things out of it. So this is my kind of pick of announcement, but there are tons of other, as I mentioned. So let's say if we go here, there are so many of them that you could go in and play around. So yeah, that's it from my side. That's a Google I/O pick from me.
Cool. Okay, folks. Like my friends here, a lot of things caught my eye at Google I/O, but I want to talk about a couple of the really interesting sector-specific ones. Let's start with MedGemma. So MedGemma is basically an open model for medical usage. It's a multimodal model, and that's really exciting for just to see where diagnosis has really evolved. It says that it can be fine-tuned to improve performance for medical text and image applications. I know that today a lot of doctors actually use like ChatGPT or Gemini out of the box. But where MedGemma stands to distinguish is that it's already pre-fine tuned on a lot of medical data, and that's what it brings to the forefront. The other one that I found super cool was Learn LM. Along the similar lines, it's again a model which is specific to help the education process. It's supposed to, there are already experiments of it called Google Classroom, which are deployed in real schools, engaging with teachers to see how to adapt education material for different students depending on their learning needs and what they would like to use. I like how this is an example of how Google has responded to the use cases it's seeing people already use LLMs for, whether it's Claude or Gemini. I personally really love Claude's tutorial and its teaching capacity. So this is Google really taking a leaf out of existing use cases and adapting it and trying to create full-blown models out of it. But again, for that reason, it's a really high bar to meet for where existing experiences really are and where some of these specific tools can really change the bar. So yeah, that was what I found super cool at this year's Google I/O.